Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. They're coming in, Mary. They're coming in. They're going to be surprised to see you here.
I know.
Usually Mary's with us for the 99 Second Slam, but she's so good at that. We've had her here. She's co-hosting the Deja True #2. We had a Deja True a couple months ago. It went well. We're doing another one. It's another Sunday evening, and we have a lot of people who are here. So thank you very much for being here. Hey, Mary.
Hey, Sean.
I like your microphone.
Thank you. I just bought it. I had to up my game now that I had to do this, Deja True. I was like, I got to get a new microphone.
You got a new microphone. You've got your headphones in. I've got a mic. They're all covered. People are coming in, and it's a nice way to spend a Sunday evening. This is about an hour event. Mm-hmm. It's tight. It's good. It's quick. It's solid. And then we're going to have, like we always do afterwards, sort of a post-story Q&A or salon or whatever you want to call it with the tellers who can hang out and the audience members.
So fun.
So fun. Now, I think most people in the audience know I'm Sean, you're Mary. We've got 12 storytellers. I'm actually one of them.
I know.
And
such a treat.
Stop. And it's depending on how you define this particular story form. I don't know if it's 6 stories or 12 stories. I don't know. It's a semantical thing. It could be both. Those of you who were here last time, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it, yes, towards 6 Truelog. If you have not seen it, well, I think you're in for a treat. It's certainly something new and different. And those storytellers who are here have been working hard at these pieces. We call them Truelogs.
Truelogs.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sold on the name, but I think for now that's what we're calling them. Maybe next time you can join us, Mary.
Yeah, I will.
Maybe somebody in the audience tonight who sees one of these says, I might want to do that, can join us next time or perhaps sometime after that. Right?
I love it.
Do we need to let this fine audience, in a couple minutes, we will introduce our first 2 storytellers. I don't have any real housekeeping things to say other than, as always, you're going to stay muted. And please stay that way. You can use the chat to communicate with anybody, me, Mary, one of the tellers, one of your friends. And I think the default, and I think the best viewing mode will be when the 2 storytellers are side by side, particularly for this event. That is the best way. Now, you can manually change that, but I would encourage you not to. I think you'll enjoy it most that way.
Agreed.
Mary, by the way, you know I'm obsessed with location. Where are you?
As usual, I'm right outside Boston, Massachusetts tonight.
Okay. And are you? You're not in Boston, Massachusetts proper.
I'm 5 miles out. I'm in a city called Malden.
Okay.
Malden, Massachusetts. Yes.
Should I put you on the spot and ask you where I am?
I know North Carolina. No, North Carolina.
Yes.
Chapel Hill.
Thank you. Very good.
Yes.
Yes, it's good. I hear some people. I see some people in the chat right now. I can't respond to you, but all the storytellers, I want to just thank them for all the hard work they've done. It doesn't come quickly. It doesn't come easily. Not for most mortals, and we're all mortals here this evening. And to our audience, I know you have a lot of different options to spend your Sunday evenings, particularly as the weather is warm and this and that is happening in the world. So thank you for being here for 60 or 70 or 90 minutes, whatever it is. Really appreciate it. And I don't think we're going to have an intermission. We're going to have 6 stories we're going to go through. We'll chat a little bit in between. We're going to roll through. All right, Mary, does that sound cool?
That works for me.
All right, look, it's almost 7:10.
Yes.
I always want to respect our audience and our tellers and get started when we say we will. We did let everyone in a little bit late, so thank you for being patient with us. I'm going to give you, Mary, the microphone. And this is a hell of a good-looking microphone.
Thank you.
And while you introduce our first 2 storytellers, I'll spotlight them. And
Yes. So if I remember correctly, these 2 wonderful first storytellers are from Massachusetts. We have Shweta Butt and Andrew Shuffle.
It's all about time. This school is almost 200 years old. The students here have been at the school between 1 and 6 years. The faculty, they line up based on how long we've been here. And the commencement ceremony itself, it will take about 2 hours. The school has hosted a lot of commencements, and I've been here for the last 15 or so. And they've taken on a lot of sameness. The faces and the names change, but the traditions stay the same. The bagpipes, the school songs, the academic attire, the handing out of the diplomas, the speechifying. The weather is warm, the leaves are on the trees. It's May and the campus, it looks beautiful. Some years it's a bit too warm and some of the faculty members complain that they're too hot under their academic attire, but those complaints are ignored once the ceremony begins. We happily do it. Commencement is a big time for the students, but it's also a big moment for us. We've taught these kids, we've coached them, we've seen them grow, and now we're getting ready to send them off into the world. Before we do that, we form a traditional receiving line where each graduate receives a firm handshake or a tight hug and congratulations and reminders to stay in touch. The students know that this is going to happen, but they don't really know how it works. Many of them will end up sobbing by the time they reach the end of the line, even the football players.
It's almost time. The weather is perfect as I make my way into Brown University's main green. It rained the night before, but today the breeze feels good on my face as my robe is keeping my bare shoulders warm. It almost feels like the calm before the storm that I don't know. I see the faculty lined up under the arch as all who are graduating, undergraduates, master's students, PhDs, medical students, and me, are lining up to start the commencement procession. It's the 250th commencement of Brown University, and even though we've only been here for about 2 to 8 years of that history, we're still part of the history of this historic ceremony, a ceremony that has held the same traditions over the years. The baccalaureate, the honorary speakers, the dean's address. I always knew I'd make it here. This is actually the one thing I knew my entire life. I mean, I've graduated before. I've received diplomas. School is something I know how to navigate. But there's something about being here, about sharing this moment with those who I took classes with, who I ate in the cafeteria amongst, who I walked down Thayer Street beside that cannot be replicated. This moment is my last moment of familiarity before I leave for a place unknown.
I've never really left school. After going to school and then going to college and then going to graduate school and then working in colleges and universities most of my adult life, I've been to a lot of commencements. I've seen authors, scientists, TV personalities, ambassadors, titans of industry, and one US president. I've had James Earl Jones shake my hand and in a Darth Vader voice say, "May the Force be with you." I've seen Hawkeye Pierce joke about the choppers bringing in the wounded. And I once sang, along with 1,000 other people, an original song written by the speaker, a famous comedian. And the main word in the chorus was asshole. But I've never handed anyone a diploma. Here at the school, it's a tradition for the faculty parent to present the diploma to their graduating child. I was supposed to be doing that this year for my son, but for a variety of reasons, the school wasn't a good fit for him. And it turns out school wasn't a good fit for him at all. He's not graduating this year from anywhere. His name isn't in any program, and it's not written in any fancy lettering on any diploma. No one remembers the ones who didn't make it. He's all I'm thinking about today.
I don't really know my life outside of school. I've been in school for the past 18 years, making my way from preschool to here. There was a year in between my junior and senior year that I did take off, but I was still taking classes, still learning, still very much being a student. I was supposed to graduate last year with all my friends, The other students that I walked through the gates with on our first day, went to parties with on the weekends, stayed up all night with, cramming for exams. I went to that graduation last year to cheer on my friends. I heard Ben Affleck give a speech and then some Nobel laureate and a professor. Even Snoop Dogg picked up a joint from the stage at the preliminary concert. I handed them all flowers, gave them hugs, and even baked a cake to eat in our freshman dorm. But today, I'm going to be handed my diploma, a diploma I always assumed I would receive, even though I took a break, even though I've questioned my ability, even though I've questioned if Brown is the school for me, questioned if I would ever see my name on the program. I see it now with all the other undergraduates. And even though I remember the questions, no one else does. No one else remembers me wondering if I could do it, if I'd do this thing that I always thought I would do. Because I'm here. And it's finally time.
The receiving line isn't timed. It ends when it ends. Ties are now undone because of the heat. Heels are held in hands because of blisters. Families are bickering about packing the car one last time. Greeting cards and gifts have been exchanged. And when it's over, a strange silence descends on campus. Everyone leaves campus happy that it's now summer, but sad because it's all over. The work is done for the year. How much time before the memories take over? I look around at happy students and their families, and I catch a whiff of celebratory cigar smoke. I wish my son were here. I wish I'd been able to hand him his diploma. That important work is incomplete. I'm an educator, and I feel like I've let him down. I feel like I've let everyone down. A graduate appears before me and reaches for my hand. "Thank you, Mr. Shelfo," she says. That's a standard student line. But I don't know this girl. And then she says, "Please tell Sam I said hi." These commencements all run together. I will remember this time, the time that I sobbed like a football player.
I couldn't tell you what time it is. The day, it started at 6 when my sister was straightening my hair while I was eating quickly and dressing in my dorm. I've been standing and sitting since then. I haven't even used a bathroom, but the ceremony is finally over. I have my diploma in hand. I'm congratulated by professors and TAs, by my classmates sitting next to me. I finally meet up with my family and some friends who greet me with smiles and tears and flowers. We take photos outside, different permutations of my parents, my sister, my grandmother, my uncle, my best friends, make their way into a photo roll of 250 pictures. I watch them walk off to the car to pick up the celebratory Thai takeout for dinner in the lounge of my freshman dorm. And I remain standing, watching the students and their families clear out. I've lived my entire life to make it here, to graduate from my dream school. I've always known what the next day would bring, how time would pass. But today feels different. Time feels like it's pausing for me to remember this moment, the familiarity, the certainty, the comfort. Because tomorrow, time will continue to go on. I will no longer be in school. I'll be in the world.
What do you think of that, Mary? Thank you, Shweta and Andrew. Mary, come on.
Oh, I mean, what a wonderful start. Just tremendous.
Thank you, Shweta
Yeah.
and Andrew.
Thank you.
Both happen to be in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why they went together. It's just they happen to be in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, right?
If you, I don't know if you got the sense, Mary, there is a loose theme this evening.
Mm-hmm.
And that loose theme is around time.
Yes.
So you saw that sort of work its way into
Ooh.
the story, and you presumably will in the rest of the stories.
Yes, that
Not
was
easy.
fabulous.
Not
No, no, it was fabulous. What a wonderful way to start. See, I can comment on the stories now. I'm so excited.
Exactly. You're not giving anything away like the slams. You can comment
I
on the
know.
stories. So would you consider that one story or two stories?
Oh, gosh, it feels like one. It just flowed so nicely. So
All right.
I feel like that was one. That's my opinion.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And just so everyone knows, after all the storytellers tell their stories, and if you ask Mary, there'll be 6 stories. If you ask Sean, I don't know, maybe 12.
Maybe 12.
We can keep taking on. We will have an opportunity to talk more to the tellers. The audience can hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
Do a little self promo and all of that good stuff. But let's just keep rolling. I'm
Yes.
gonna stop talking because, well, you can introduce the next 2 storytellers.
I can. That's wonderful. Let's see if I get this right. So, Tori Shine in Pennsylvania, and you, Sean Wellington, in North Carolina, are our next pair to tell us a story.
I need to get out of this hospital. This was not the plan. When I came here to Dublin, Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, my plan consisted of pubs, parades, dancing in the streets. Instead, I get attacked by some random guy on a side street. He is amped up. He's wearing brass knuckles with spikes in them. And when he punches me, the spike splits open my head above my left eye. Now, everyone else is at an after party, and I am bleeding, alone in this hospital, waiting for stitches. And I swear, the emergency room in Dublin, Ireland, on St. Patrick's Day is a total shit show. There are drunk people bleeding everywhere. I'm supposed to fly to Amsterdam tomorrow. I have tickets for this music festival, the Jam and the Dam, and I'm going to visit my boyfriend, Boris. He's Dutch. My flight leaves in 5 hours. Finally, I walk out of the hospital. My face is swelling up in bruises. My head is wrapped in gauze. I hail a cab to the airport.
I need to get out of this hospital. It's the UNC Psych Center, and I didn't want to come here. This was not in the plans. This is a place you come when you want to kill somebody or kill yourself. That's not me. I just didn't want to keep living. That's not the same. When there was nowhere else to go, I checked myself in, and I stay a week, half my time in the ER, the rest in the psych unit. I need help, but I'm not getting it here. This place is an absolute shit show, so I leave. The only thing that's changed, I've lost a week. Oh, and I'm gonna get a bill, a big bill. And when I do, when I get this bill, I will no doubt add more holes to the living room or bedroom or bathroom walls, because this is the place where it goes. That's the place where it goes. And I'm still alone. That hasn't changed either. Look, if something doesn't change, the next time it won't be a psych unit or the psych ER. It's going to be a jail or a cemetery. I know this, and I know something needs to change. And I need to get out of this house. I've been back a week, but every time I open the door to leave, I stop because I feel like everybody is always staring at me. Like I've got this big tattoo across my entire face, and it says, dangerous.
I get to Amsterdam and everyone is staring at me. My face is covered in bruises. My head is wrapped in bandages. I look like a train wreck. It's obvious I've been beaten up. And people are judging me. They're giving me dirty looks. It's like I've got this giant sign that says victim on my face. There's a cop at the airport. He scowls at me and he says, well, that must have been some door. And I feel ashamed and I feel embarrassed. But when Boris sees me for the first time, he doesn't flinch. And he's not embarrassed to be seen with me. We go out in public. We go out to dinner. And there's a big part of me that just wants to be alone, to hide somewhere inside. But these bruises aren't going to go away any faster no matter where I am. And jamming the dam, it's happening now. And so I go to the festival like this. And I have to lean on a railing. I'm dizzy from the concussion. But I lean onto the railing and I'm moving with the music. I'm dancing. And for a moment, I feel good.
Dance. I see a flyer for a dance class, a salsa class. It's near me. It's on a Monday night. I've done salsa before when I was up in New York. So I go. This is Cuban salsa. It's done in a group, in a circle. I'm in this big beginner circle. And for that Monday night, I dance for 2 hours. Is it fun? No. Because I feel like everybody is looking at me, judging me. The fuck are you looking at? I am not dangerous. It's the tattoo. And I know everybody can see it plastered across my face, dangerous. And after that Monday night, I don't want to go back. And that week, when I'm home, I hide. And I'm looking at those walls with those holes. And I know no matter where I go, or what I do, or who I do it with, I'm going to feel this way. So I go back that next Monday night. I even tell some people before class starts about my stay in the hospital. They don't seem to mind. In fact, one guy says, okay, you ready to dance? And so after that second class, I know I'm coming back. And I do. All winter and into spring, Monday nights, I dance. And then I go home. And for the rest of the week, I'm still alone. But I've got those Monday nights. And I'm getting good. Good enough to have these moments. They don't happen often. And they don't last long. But sometimes when I'm moving in this space with these people to that music, this is now where it goes. This is where it goes. There are no new holes in that wall. And I feel better. I feel a little better. These moments when I just forget about that tattoo and I dance. At summer, one of the women tells me that they are planning a trip to Havana. It's the birthplace of Cuban salsa. Do I want to go? She asks me. And I'm thinking, with this tattoo across my face? Really? Me?
Then Boris asks me if I want to come with him to Utrecht, his hometown in the Netherlands. And I'm like, really? Me? Like this? And he means it. He wants to show me where he grew up. And when we get to Utrecht, he brings me to this bar called Aku. It's packed. Aku, it's a punk rock bar. It used to be a squat. It's a non-traditional kind of place. And the manager recognizes Boris right away. He used to work there. The manager comes over to us and he tells us, like, hey, we're really understaffed tonight. And then he asks the both of us if we would be willing to help out, work a shift at the bar. Really? Me? Like this? He is totally cool with me working this bar, bandages, bruises, and all. Up until now, since I left the hospital, I've always felt like an outsider. But now I'm volunteering in this punk rock bar in Utrecht. I'm serving drinks in Dutch. I'm speaking French to a tourist from West Africa. And I get lost in the moment and I forget that I'm hurt. And I'm laughing and I'm smiling. And I'm still covered in bruises. Everyone can see it. But the people here, they're not judging me. They're not treating me like a victim. They're treating me like a person. And I feel like a person and it feels so good. And when my shift is over, the music is blasting. And Boris and I, we embrace and we dance.
Really, Sean, come with us to Cuba. I say yes. And later that summer, 7 of us are landing in Havana's airport. The dance company we have hired tells us to meet them at the Malecon. It's this big, long stone boardwalk. Look, they want to show us where they're from. And when we arrive, we hug, we kiss. One of the dance teachers gives me a bottle of rum. Try it, he says. We have drinks. 9 months ago, I was in the hospital and I was home alone. And now I'm in Havana with friends. And I still have those moments of not wanting to be here. And I know that tattoo, it may never be gone, but it's fading. And then one of our teachers turns the music on, and we embrace, all of us, and we form a big circle, all of us, including me. And the sun is shining, and the waves are splashing, and the music is blasting. And it feels so good. And we dance.
Wow. Wow. Amazing, amazing. I mean, just carrying that wonderful storytelling forward. It's amazing, guys.
Awkward moment for Sean now.
I know, you're like, stop it.
Awkward moment for Sean. Tari, thank you for doing that with me.
Likewise, thank you for inviting me.
Great, I appreciate it. I guess I'm the only one who gets to kind of talk to the other teller right now because I'm like part teller and part host and all this other good stuff. But it was a fun process. Not an easy process, Mary, but a sort of fun process. It's good to get to the end though, you know?
Yeah, that's a wonderful. Again, it just weaves so wonderfully. So I'm still saying one. I'm still.
You're still saying one.
I'm
Okay.
saying one. I'm staying with one.
Look, Mary, we're still trying to figure this stuff out as we go, and we're doing our best to improve the form. And I think we're getting closer. We're getting warmer and warmer as we do it more often, and we get feedback and we practice.
That's it.
You know, and I should say to anybody who's watching this, and I'll say it a couple more times, if this is something you might want to do, I would love to open it up to a wider group of people. And do this more. It's fun and it's interesting. And I think we have just scratched the surface. You know?
Agreed. Completely agree. Look at all this stuff happening online. Look at it.
I mean, it's good stuff, right? Because we've done the 99 and now we've got this and we've done the other stuff. And you're in a lot of stuff.
That's true.
Some stuff.
Yeah, a lot of storytelling. It's wonderful. This is what we need right now, Sean. We need to hear stories.
Indeed.
The way the world is, it's true.
Let us introduce our third pair this evening.
We're taking. Should I go, Sean, or did you have something?
Yeah, no. I'll stop talking. You know that's hard for me.
I never want to interrupt, my friend.
You know that's very challenging for me.
We're going to take a trip out to Las Vegas and hear from Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin.
It's 1968. I'm barely 21. And I'm playing poker at the Monterey Club in Gardena. Gardena is a suburb of Los Angeles, and it's where old poker players go to die. I have studied every poker book in the world. I've taken a year off of college because I want to make my fortune gambling. I'm sure that's where my fortune is. Unfortunately, I get my clock cleaned in Gardena. These old pros are good, and I'm not, and I get beat repeatedly. So I give up gambling. I give up poker. I go back to school. 6 years later, I've got a couple degrees, and I decide to gamble at backgammon. Again, read all the books and practice, and this time I get good. I get really good. Not elite. In backgammon, you need to be elite in order to make money at it. So I have to give this up too. And I have to go get a job because I've lost all my money at backgammon. I've had some degrees, I have some skills so I can get jobs, but I hate working for other people. I don't fit in. I'm much better off by myself, but I have to do what I have to do. I hear about blackjack. This is a game against the house, not against other players. Maybe I can do well at this. So I get all the books. The one that most inspires me is called $1 Million Blackjack. I hear about a game at Caesar's Palace, which is going to be great. I don't have enough money yet to play that game, but I will soon. And that's where I'm going to make my fortune.
I'm 20 years old and I'm in a bar with my friend Jerry the dentist. And he tells me he has a system for playing blackjack. And I roll my eyes. I go, yeah, right. And he goes, no, this is real. This is based on math. And he tells me about counting cards. And he tells me about a book called Playing Blackjack as a Business. So I order the book, I read it, and I go, oh, this is legit. Like, this actually could work. And so I start studying and practicing. And I think after college, I'm headed to Vegas. So after college, I head to Vegas. And I get a job as a blackjack dealer because this way I can deal blackjack 8 hours a day and practice counting cards the whole time. So I deal for 8 hours in practice, and then I go out for a couple of hours after work and I play. This is my plan. I am going to be a professional card counter.
The game at Caesar's Palace turns out to be not so good as for me as I thought. But there are other games in Las Vegas that I can beat. A lot of casinos offer promotions where out-of-state players get paid to play blackjack for 4 or 8 hours. And so I do this a lot. And I get good at it. And my skills are enough that I'm doing fine. I'm building up my bankroll. This is great. I moved to Las Vegas in order to specialize in these games. And my bankroll's getting bigger and bigger so I can go play. But eventually, there's only so many of these places that offer the promotions. And therefore, to bring in new customers, not to be a money grab for old customers. So I get kicked out of most of them and eventually all of them. By this time, I know how to count cards. And so I do that. And I'm better than break even, not real good, but I'm winning. But that's enough for the casinos to kick you out. I get a tap on the shoulder at the Las Vegas Hilton. They don't want my blackjack action anymore. At the Stardust, they're not so polite about it, but the result is the same. So I give up blackjack. And I'm in Las Vegas, very little money left. No job, no prospects. I'm disgusted with myself. I want to be able to live by my wits. The world is telling me that I'm not good enough to do that. And I hate that feeling.
I meet a professional card counter. His name is Alan, and he's from Australia. And we become pretty fast friends. And in places where I would bet $2, he's betting $100. Where I would bet $10, he's betting $500. And after 1 week, he says to me, how come you're not playing blackjack for more money? I said, well, I can't afford it. I'm betting what I can afford until I build up my bankroll. He says, well, how about we form a little team and I put up $20,000 and you guys play until you double the bankroll and then we'll split the money. I said, you've known me 1 week and you're going to give me $20,000 to go gamble in a casino with? And he reaches into his coat and he pulls out 2 stacks of $10,000 each and slides them across the table to me. So I say, okay. And we form this little team and we go out and we start to play. And every time I go out, I lose. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I say to my friends, look, you have to come with me and sit with me at the table because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So they come with me. They sit at the table with me. They watch me play. And at the end, I lose. And they say, no, you did everything right. You're just getting unlucky. It'll turn around. This goes on for 2 months. And at the end of 2 months, Alan comes to me and he says, look, I'm sorry, I have to go back to Australia. So we have to end the bankroll. I said, Alan, you're apologizing to me? I'm losing all your money. I'm the one who needs to be apologizing. But Alan leaves, the bankroll ends, and I tell my friends, look, I don't know if I'm the unluckiest player or the worst player, but this game sucks. I quit.
I'm still floundering, trying to figure out what I can do when I grow up. I go to Gamblers Book Club, which is a bookstore in Las Vegas covering all things gambling. I come across video poker. This is the game against the house where they don't kick out players. This might be good. So I buy all the books, start reading, start studying. From the get-go, I realized the books aren't very good. I'm sure I can do better, although right now I don't have the knowledge to do better. So I start researching, finding the errors, figuring out what's wrong with them. I figure if I get good enough to teach, then that'll make my skills much better to play. If I just learn the game well enough to get by, that won't be so good. So over the next 7 years, I spend 90 to 100 hours a week studying, writing, teaching, gambling, consulting, scouting, all kinds of things. This is a great time to be a video poker player, and I do well, very well. I have found my passion in life, and my dreams have come true. Gambling has been very good to me.
I go back to my dealing job. I'm dealing blackjack 8 hours a day. And my friend Crazy Craig comes to me. And he's joined another blackjack team. And he says, you got to give this another try. Like, we're winning so much money. It's crazy. Like, just give it another shot. I say, okay, all right, I'll give it one more try. I go out, I start to play. I'm doing everything exactly the same as I was doing it before. Only now I start to win. And the more I win, the more I bet. And the more I start betting, the more I start winning. And pretty soon, I'm making more money playing blackjack than I am dealing. So I quit my job. For the last 40 years, I've traveled around the world getting paid to play cards. I'm a professional blackjack player. So I have to say, gambling has been very good to me.
There it is. The boys from Vegas. Mary,
Wow.
right?
You think it's all glamorous, and then
No.
you hear these stories.
Working hard,
Working hard.
didn't give up, figuring
Mhm.
I kind of don't like them. I love them, but the fact that they can, I know it's a hard, most people can't make it work. There's a lot of stories that we probably don't hear of people trying and it doesn't work.
Right.
Anybody who could do something they love for 40 years, whether it's gambling or something else, I'm like, I want some of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
That's
Okay.
true.
Right?
That's true. But gambling's been
had-
good to them. Like Nadia said, gambling's been good to them.
Yeah. Gambling
awesome.
is very, very good to me. We had Andrew and Shweta who were talking about their rites of passage, so to speak, change, and Tori and I talking about, among other things, our pathway to dancing.
Yes.
I'm simplifying, but
That's okay. Listen, I'm the one who usually summarizes, so
I know.
I get it. I understand.
Now I know how hard it is. I realize I'm trying to do it. It's wow. And Bob and Richard going through the path of being able to do something they love, and it just happens to be gambling.
Yes.
Now, somebody pointed something out. No, this is not a big gulp. Okay? What it is a large unsweetened iced tea from McDonald's. Mary, can I share not a story, but it's sort of generally speaking a very quick story?
Of course.
It's not a story, by the way.
It's your show.
It's not a story. What it is I tried to go vegan, right?
Uh-huh.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you something. It's hard.
It's hard.
Let me tell you something about that. Don't do it. It's really hard. And every now and then I'll slip. And sometimes I slip big. And
You
I'll
have to.
go to the McDonald's and I'll get a couple of fish combos with large fries and a large unsweetened iced tea.
Oh.
And then that's from yesterday. So
So there's just iced tea in it, because I know.
I'm trying to be good about my booze
All right.
intake. What you just saw there, that story, that was your intermission. That's,
Well,
that was the intermission. You're welcome.
I think I should introduce the next two.
Would it be
people, don't
shocking
you?
if I told you that was unplanned? Yes, take it away. Yes, take it away.
Let's go California Dreaming with Neshama Franklin, and over to Chi-Town, which I'm sure they hate I call it that, but Chicago with Dan Boyd.
All right, we're going to just spotlight both of them, and they're going to take their time and make sure they're unmuted, which they are, and stage is theirs.
There I was, in the ditch. The car had spun around, and I was surrounded by broken glass. I somehow had the presence of mind to reach over and turn off the ignition and the new age music that had been playing, and there was an uncanny silence that in which time seemed to stop, and then the sirens came, and there were 3 ambulances. One for me, I didn't think I was hurt. One for I learned it was a motorcycle, and we had collided. I had looked both ways. I was just a couple of minutes from my house. How could this have happened? And what did it mean? I basically thought that this could be the end of my life as I knew it. And as I peeled my fingers off that useless steering wheel right now, I sat there absolutely terrified.
Her lawyers had built their entire office complex in Imperial Death March style. So I'm in this gigantic room with this oversized table that just stretches for miles and tapers at the end. So they have me at the taper and they sit at the other end with just this vast amounts of desk space. And these secretaries come in with pencil skirts and ask if we want coffee, but look at us with these forlorn eyes that say, "I'm so sorry. My boss is gonna fuck you." I've been sued by my best friend, and she's claimed that she has created a secret corporation that owns all of the artwork that I've created between 2011 and 2014. And because I've created with all of my friends, she also claims to own everything that they've created with me. And the thing about America is you can sue anybody for anything to make them pay for a lawyer.
Well, the insurance company lawyer was not very encouraging. I mean, he basically said he had the right of way, you're at fault, you're screwed. My heart, of course, sank even further, but my sister said, try mediation, and that felt a lot better to, because I really don't trust the justice system. So my mediator, he was a little guy, soft-spoken, appropriate. He had tasseled loafers, which I didn't like too much. But what he basically told me is he said, look, Neshama, it's our job to worry. And if you need to worry, we'll tell you. What was I worried about? Not exactly my victim, as it were. I mean, I knew he had a hurt arm. I was worried about myself, my future, my nest egg, my retirement, my house, my cushion between, what I thought was going to see me through and the kind of echoey, scary reality that a lot of people without this lovely cushion feel all the time. And so you could call it a form of American Zen. I had to live in the now, but it was more like 2.5 years of held breath.
I go back in time to that lawsuit, but I try to ebb towards forgiveness. And forgiveness isn't forgetfulness. It's not without consequences, but it's the letting go of the holding on to. So I try to remember these times where it all began, Was it when I first introduced her on that coffee date to Adam Baker, our good friend? Is it the first time we hold hands together? I never go back to our first kiss, but I get dragged back to that lawsuit that consumed 2.5 years of my life. I go back to the federal courtroom where the judge looked at me in his office and he said, "Let's get this solved tonight."
Well, there we finally were. And the place where it happened in San Francisco was peculiar looking. There were these kind of made of cinder blocks, but in between the cinder blocks were these glass colored blocks. It was an attempt to make it look perhaps a little more magisterial or maybe a little more cheerful. But when we got inside, it was a windowless room with that endless long table. And there was my lawyer, and there was his lawyer, and there was her lawyer, the girl, his girlfriend, who had ridden behind him. And there was a lawyer from Caltrans. I wasn't sure what he was doing there. And this was the first time I laid eyes on my victims. They looked sturdy and fine to me, but I knew there had been injury. And then the mediation started, back and forth and back and forth. And I knew that I was not supposed to say very much, because that's what one does. And after each round, it was kind of like a very subtle boxing match. The lawyers would go into a corner and then chat with each other very collegially about sailing, about golf. Then they'd get back together, round 2, round 3. And at the end of round 3, they came up with what actually felt good. I would pay this guy's medical expenses. I could afford this guy's medical expenses. And I let out my breath for the first time, fully in 2.5 years. You should know, by the way, what Caltrans was doing there. It turns out I wasn't the deep pockets after all the state of California was, because they had never put back the sign that they had taken off that showed the intersection many, many years ago. So they ended up doing quite well. But at that moment, it was just an opportunity. They said, "Would you like to talk with each other?" And we both nodded solemnly, and we stood up and we faced each other. And we looked into each other's eyes, and out of our mouths came the same phrase, "I'm so sorry. It was such bad luck." And we actually hugged. I could feel my tremble and possibly his as well. And so it was, at last, a possible form of justice.
We left that room settled. And as we headed to the giant glass doors in that federal building and the galaxy far, far away of the Chicago twinkling lights and the cars zooming by, I knew what I had to do. And I called to her and I said, "Jane." And her red hair turned towards my blue, and my blue eyes locked with her green. She took a step away from her lawyers, pulled away from them, and I said, "Thank you. Thank you for settling today. But thank you for all the good things that you brought into my life. It wasn't nothing." She didn't hold my gaze, and I knew that that would be the last time that I ever had any contact with her. And I'd love to tell you that in that moment, I had it in me to forgive her. But I only knew that I needed to get there. And so I wanted my last word to her to be that. because I know the power of forgiveness. But the truth is, I'm not there yet.
Dare I say boom? I just did. Boom. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Neshama. Mary, I say this as both co-host,
Mm-hmm.
your co-host,
Yes.
Queen Mary's co-host, and one of the people involved with this thing. And I get to spend time with these storytellers and work on these things. It's really interesting to see how they sort of evolve,
Such talent.
right?
Such talent. Wow.
Now, if I had more time, I would be really curious. As these storytellers were telling their stories, I wanted to ask you about some of the things that came up in the story, but maybe this isn't the right time or place. I wanted to ask you if you'd been to Vegas, if you are someone who forgives easily, and also, and I wrote this down, do you wear tassel loafers? Please, Mary, you know the right answer.
No.
Okay, good. Let's go on then. Because that was the big question. I saved it to the last.
Well, that's
The
okay.
tassel.
No.
Have you never worn them? You've never ever worn tassel loafers?
No. No, can't say I have.
All right.
No.
No judgments.
No, I'm a shoe, horse, so I love them. And tassel loafers are not the type of shoes I would collect.
Correct. And I like
Yes.
that. I like that choice.
Thanks.
I think that's a good choice. I also like your teeth.
Thank you.
No, I
Yes, you
just
did
love
tell me that. Thank you.
Thank you again to our storytellers and
Yes.
audience. We got almost 50 people here, which is great.
I
And
know.
70 minutes with us, hearing the stories. They're in the chat a little bit.
Hmm.
And what else? What else is there really other than some cheap wine?
That and we don't have the hat from Peru though.
No, this is a different event.
I know. I'm just saying.
I know you miss it. We will
I
have
miss it.
another. There will be another 99-second
I
slam
know.
later in September, and
Mhm.
of course, everybody will know about it.
Yes.
And now that I figured out Mailchimp, everybody who registered on Eventbrite will get emails from me, and they can unsubscribe.
Ooh.
Welcome to the 90s, Sean.
You're moving on up, Sean. You're getting there. You're getting there. I'm proud of you.
They can unsubscribe, but it's another way.
Don't.
I don't do it, but there's
Don't.
another way people can learn about events and workshops or whatever.
Exactly. Send it to your friends. Get them to subscribe. Come on.
Right?
Let's encourage that.
Indeed. All right.
Yes. All right.
Let's introduce.
Yes. So from Minnesota, we have Howard Lieberman, and from Arizona, Mary Jo Pollock. Two very different winters, I will say.
I've got a gift. No, it's not my good looks or athletic prowess or special love-making skills. My gift is wordsmithing. I write well. And as a young man, I began publishing poetry and fiction, even political commentary. I'm a writer. It's 1971, and I'm living in Montreal working as a community organizer, doing God's work. Unfortunately, God doesn't pay, and I'm broke. So I answer an ad to be a copywriter for Globe Press, the world's largest purveyor of softcore porno tabloids like Close Up, Blow Up, and everyone's favorite, Midnight. I get called in for an interview with the publisher, an immaculately dressed Quebecois woman who tells me to find an empty desk and take a half hour to write an article about mutual masturbation. I don't even know what that is. The boss seems to like my writing and tells me that if I take another half hour and replace penis and vagina with creative euphemisms, the job will be mine.
I've always had the gift of gab. When I was a teenager, I was on the phone all night long to the point where my parents relented and got me my own line so somebody else in the house could use the phone once in a while. My chatty nature came in quite handy in 1994. I was between this and that, And I was doing some temp jobs. I ended one career and then I was moving. And this was just sustaining me barely. And I had to go in my savings each month. One day, having lunch with my friend Greg, I mentioned, I need to find something to do to supplement this temp work. He said, well, I just got a whole bunch of 900 numbers. I'm expanding my business. He had telephone dating services. And I'm not going to use them all. Some of them I probably won't use for 6 months, but why don't you take one of those numbers and see what you can do with it? Great idea. Thanks, Greg. I went to the store and I picked up all those free papers that have the 900 numbers in back. And I saw that it broke down to 3 basic categories: psychic readings, astrological readings, and phone sex. I knew I couldn't muddle my way through psychic or astrological readings. That left phone sex.
I'm a quick learner, and once penis became pulsing rod and love lands, and vagina became dripping honey pot and climaxed canal, the job was mine. Before long, I'm writing not only feature articles, but a weekly serial about a young woman traveling the country in search of sexual adventure. Oh, and I get to write the weekly porn horoscope. Now, for all you horoscope people, they're not real. I know, because I wrote them. And my favorite is for the Geminis, because I'm a Gemini, and for the week of my birthday, I wrote, Geminis, this week, 2 women will ravage both sides of your personalities. Find those women and have the time of your life, because this is your time. Well, the more I write, the more I get paid. I'm becoming the porn king of Montreal, and it was a heady time. No pun intended.
Okay, phone sex. Well, confidentially, I had a little non-professional experience, but now I needed a business plan. I created a persona, Chelsea, auburn hair, 29. I was 46. And I wrote some ads offering titillating conversation for $2.99 a minute to place in the papers. The FCC, Federal Communications Commission, has rules regarding 900 numbers. And there are certain words you're not allowed to say, words like cock, pussy, and fuck. So I needed euphemisms, and I needed to build up a cache of fantasies so I would be like the best phone sex goddess ever. I gathered my friends, I opened a bottle of wine, and I said, I need euphemisms, I need fantasies. We came up with joystick, love canal, hot rod, and the fantasies kind of centered around handsome stranger, gorgeous plumber. And I thought, I am starting my new adventure as the phone sex goddess.
Well, about after 6 months of writing porn, I started to grow tired of discussing passion tunnels and thick, juicy, foot-long sausages, and my sex drive begins to disappear. I just don't have any. Writing about vivid, kinky sex all day is just killing my appetite for the real thing, and I've always kind of enjoyed sex. I've been a little precocious in my life. So I begin to job search and eventually accept a job as an apprentice printer and a union organizer. I go in to tell the publisher, and she offers me a huge raise to stay. We're talking serious money. But I'm done with porno. I have to have a real life. I have to have real sex. So I leave the lurid life behind with few regrets, but lots of ways to describe body parts and sex acts. Today, I still write and publish when I can, but Howard the Porn King is little more than a faint but sinfully entertaining memory.
The phone started ringing. I had repeat callers, so they must have been satisfied. I was getting a little annoyed at the repeat of blowjobs and anal all the time. It was getting routine. There was some variety. I had one caller. He only wanted chase chat. The first time he called, he asked me if I'd seen Lion King. Yes. And we spent the time discussing animation, and he was a regular. And we discussed art and books and movies. Maybe he just got off on Van Gogh. One night at 11:05, I noted the time. The phone rang. This caller had something slightly different. I'd heard of it, but I wasn't very familiar with it. Golden showers. And I really thought it was disgusting, but for $2.99 a minute, if you want to virtually pee on my face, I guess it's okay. The next night, 11:05, the phone rings. Same caller, same story, almost verbatim. And anytime the phone rang at 11:05, I never answered it, and he stopped calling. This was a turning point for me. I was really turned off to men. I didn't want to date. I didn't even want to hang out with my guy friends. I did enjoy the checks from AT&T every other week, but it was time to disconnect the phone and leave this life behind me and say goodbye to the phone sex goddess. Now I use my gift of gab for storytelling.
There it is. Thanks, Howard and Mary Jo. All right. There's Mary. There's so much there.
So much.
Neither of them are arguably in their sexual. What's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, I don't know. You're on your own here.
I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with that. I know. You're right. I could see Mary Jo already being like, say what? I'm sorry, what? It just brings up a lot for, I'm sure everyone who heard that, right?
Yes. Here, let me help you. They're not in their careers, sexual careers anymore.
Fair.
There you go.
There's Howard's like.
Yes, that's right.
Right. No. Howard. So the only teller who has unmuted themselves and talked tonight was Howard saying, yep, that's it. Just want to make sure I still got it.
Yes.
I'm still good. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Okay, I'm fine. Mary Jo's like quiet. She's like, think whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Because the range of stories tonight are just tremendous.
Did you know that about either Mary Jo or Howard before that story about that part of their lives?
I think we had a 99-second story from Mary Jo.
Okay.
So that sounded familiar. Howard, I did not.
No. You surprised about that with Howard?
No.
Oh. Nope.
No.
No.
I am not.
Surprising story is good.
Yes.
But in this case, the actual wasn't like shocking.
It wasn't shocking, no.
But it's still, yes.
Yes.
Now, as you know, and other people know, Grit has several events every Sunday, just about. We have the Mental Health Happy Hour, which is an open mic, which has been growing, which I love.
Yes.
We got the Flash, which is sort of improv and story. You, of course, know about the 99-second story slam.
I've heard something about that, yeah.
Right? Starting season 5.
Yes.
And some curated events. We used to have the 7x7s. I put them on hold. Now we have the Deja True. Our next and final 2 storytellers are doing something kind of interesting. And I don't want to give much of it away.
Okay.
But they're taking two things that Grit kind of has been a part of, this form, and playing with the length and sort of bleeding into the 99 area. I'll leave it at that, but they're trying to take 2 ideas and make it into one story.
Wow. And I get to introduce them. How exciting.
Indeed.
Well, we're going to go up to Canada and talk to Joanne Pelletier and bring it back down to New York with Rana Levy.
Hi, everyone. How's the sound? Rana, good?
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right. I'm 37 and I moved back to Montreal where I was born. I'm going to start this exciting new job really soon. I'm also divorced and I'm brokenhearted and I need to start again. When I arrive, I move in with my aging parents. Now, this is just a short-term thing, like a month max, just until I get settled into the new job and I get a new home.
I'm 37. And I've run away across the country to Los Angeles. I run from a boyfriend who's getting a little too serious. And I run from being a daughter, a sister, a spinster aunt, from teaching high school, serving burgers, delivering pizzas, answering phones. I need a new start. And I fantasize about a Hollywood life because living an ordinary, boring life just scares the crap out of me.
In no time, I'm managing everything about my parents' lives. You see, I become their health advocate, their health project manager. I'm a driver, I'm a cook, I'm a confidant, I'm a bill payer, I'm a daughter. Their health declines and caring for them becomes my second full-time job. My whole short-term thing goes on for 8 years. I'm caught up and I'm stuck in this role as a caregiver. I can't get out. And the house search is just a fantasy now, and I have no time for the restart. Dad dies, and now I need to figure out what's next for Mom.
In no time, I managed to do a movie, plays, get a great review in the LA Times. I work in a production office. I'm an assistant to a TV star. I pitch an educational TV series, and I get a call. Fantasy life? No, this is my authentic life. But it's short term. I mean, I'm doing the same thing in LA that I was doing in New York. I'm teaching, I'm waitressing, I'm answering phones. I'm a Hollywood cliche.
Mom dies the year I turned 50. I spent 13 years as a caregiver. Nobody, well, really everybody. Yeah, they call me a superhero. Having that big job, being the caregiver, was I just really stuck, unable to get out? Yeah, because the longer I stayed, the harder it was to get back to my life. But also, I know this. I know I was hiding a little in the role of caregiver. I ran away from my life by running home to be the hero. I am a hero, and I was a coward. Just afraid of restarting. Not anymore. Yeah, okay. I ran home. Now I need to find a home.
My dad's in the hospital. I've just turned 42. He needs 2 heart valve replacements and he has leukemia. And then my grandfather dies and I miss the funeral because I am 2,451 miles from my home. Okay, yeah. New York is my home. It's time to go home.
Boom. That's a wrap, Mary Dalba. Thank you, Joanne.
Wow.
Thank you. Those were 6. Yeah, Mary, you would call those 6 stories. I would touch 3.
Yeah.
Some people might say 12. I don't know if anyone would say another number. That would be strange.
It would be weird.
Huge thanks to you, Mary, and of course to our storytellers. Oh yeah, so there's 12 tellers plus my fish story, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's 13.
13.
Right. Great job, Mary. Great job, tellers, and great job to our audience. Just for being here. It might sound weird to say great job, but I love that you're here. Yeah.
Sean, great job you, not only hosting, but telling.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes, we try.
Yes.
We actually prepared for a little while doing this. It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
Yeah.
But wow, you can tell, just so crisp and smooth and so good. All that preparation definitely paid off tonight. I have to say.
Thank you for joining us, Mary. We appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
And I will, in a moment, bid everyone a formal adieu and then invite you to hang out. And part of our conversation can be that you're interested in doing this because I really want more people to do it. Now know that it's not easy for most mortals. most people, but it'd be cool. So, Mary, do you have anything else to say before we sort of say formally goodbye and then let people unmute and hang out?
Oh, thanks for being here, everybody. And I'm so happy I came in to help co-host. So thank you, Sean, for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, enough thanking. Great job, y'all. We'll see you soon. And unmute, hang out, and I'll see you at another event soon. Be well. I'll stop recording now.